Hello, this is Denise Snow. I'm here to give you a basic overview of how to create a workroom and import content from the Canvas Commons area. When you log into Canvas, one of the first areas you'll see is your dashboard. Your dashboard here is a card view of all your published courses, including courses you're enrolled as a student or courses you have published for other people to be able to interact with as students. It also has your unpublished courses. If you work for CCSD, anytime you have a Infinite Campus class that's synced to Canvas, it creates a workroom for you. That will then be later, the students, once Infinite Campus is active, the students would be automatically populated into this Canvas class for you. And then you would just create a workroom, get the content designed as best as you can, and then import it into one of the classes that is Infinite Campus ready. So here's one of the classes or the workrooms I created for Web Design 3, and now I'm going to show you a little bit about it. I'm just going to click on it so you can see the layout of it. I don't have a fancy homepage. I like it to take me directly to my modules, which is the content of the course, which is the most important thing. A lot of people like to design really fancy home pages with buttons and drawings and icons. I don't like to do that because it requires the user or the student to have extra clicks to get to the content. And from the students I've talked to in the past, they really don't like to waste time clicking on other things. And it's also less consistent with their other classes. So I don't change my homepage settings. I leave it here so it goes directly into the modules. And each one of the modules is such as this welcome area, or you can go down to course introduction, or this one's review HTML, or principles of design. You can name your modules whatever you want. You can name them by week, you can name them by assignment, you can name them by lesson, you can name them by learning objective. It's totally up to you what you want to name your modules, as long as you keep them organized, because the students are going to work from the top down. The module itself needs to be published before the students will be able to see any of the content. You know if it's published by seeing this green check mark. If I wanted to unpublish it, I can click here, and then the students would no longer be able to say any of this area because this module is not visible. So even though these assignments and stuff are visible or pages, they still wouldn't be able to see it because the module is hidden. So I want to make for sure I publish it in case it's ready to go. This is where the pages are. You can tell they're pages because it has this little green icon. If you hover over it, it says pages. These little icons here mean you can drag it up and down and relocate it so it goes in order of how you want the students to view it. The little three dots over here lets you increase the indent if I want to move it over so it can show some hierarchy, or I can decrease the indent. I can edit the page itself. I can duplicate it and rename it. I can move it to a different module or move it up and down. I can rename it, or I can share it to the Commons area, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. This is a text header, so it's just a header to help break up the modules so students understand what's coming next. You can delete entire modules by clicking on the three dots here, and you can actually delete the module. It actually deletes everything inside the module as well. You can edit the name of it, move it as well, so you can also share the entire module to Commons. To create a new module, just hit the blue button here, name it, and you can add a prerequisite saying you can't get to this module until you've completed this module and this module, so that students have to work as the assignments straight down the modules. Over to the left-hand side, here is where you have information here these is the settings and content of the module itself or the class itself, and these are your settings for your Canvas account. Off to the right are some options over here. New announcements, student view if you want to see what the student view is going to look like, view notifications, turn on your notifications, so forth. You can publish the whole course here. Import existing content, import from Commons. This is one way to get stuff from Commons, especially if you had something marked as favorite. Choose a home page. I don't mess with that. I leave it as the default. And course checklist, it creates one for you as you add to-do list items and due dates to things. Assignments come up looking a little different than pages because they have point point value is assigned to them. A page is content, an assignment is content, and a point value that automatically goes into the grade book, lists it off, and then you can set up your grades with the weighted grades or whatever you'd want to set up your grade book as. So I can click up here to get back to my home page. And you have your announcements, assignments, discussion threads, grades. People is where you can click and add other students or other teachers to share your workroom. And you can set, so if you just click on people, you can put their email address of whoever you want to add and set their role as a teacher, designer, or an observer. Parents would be observers. They can set up their own account. There's some directions on the CCSD website for that. As long as they're set up as a teacher, they can log in at the same time as you and help you edit and collaborate on your entire workroom together. But how do we get content in here? We want to get started, and if we haven't created a page before, the easiest way is to go into the Commons area right here. So the Commons is a storage place for people who are willing to share their content. And some of them are full pages, some of them are modules, some of them are just rubrics, some of them are just quizzes. You have to look and see what it says. Right here is telling you, okay, when you search, there's only going to be searching Clark County School District. If you want to look nationwide and see what classes are, you can hit this X, and when you search here, it will look nationwide. But let's look for algebra. Okay, well here's some information on algebra. So here's a semester 2 class. If you look in the middle, it says S2. This one's a semester 1. And then you have, this one says blended. So not all the content is on there because somebody was teaching class in the classroom as well, and some of that content may not be in this Canvas workroom. So let's look at one though. Let's look at Algebra 2 Honors Semester 1. And Nevada Learning Academies are great ones to start with. You can see that they're the ones who created it. It takes a second for the preview to come up, depending on your internet connection. But it should come up and you should be able to see the modules. And this one just says Teacher Guide, do not publish, so that the students won't see this information, but it's there for you to help understand the content and how it's organized. Here's some information on books that you might want to get the license for because they might be using those in this class. Teacher resources like the course overview. But here's the module 1. And notice the naming of these assignments and lessons, M1 and then L1. So it's modular 1, lesson 1. And this is a text header they added in. If you click on a quiz or an assignment or a page, you can click on it. And this class is actually set up as just a hyperlink that goes to another website. I don't recommend you do that because you don't want to direct your students off this web page. You really want them to stay on this site as much as possible. You can copy and paste content here. It would be much easier than having an external link. But you can go back to your module view here. You can see the separate assignments. You can see just the pages. And this area is what the teacher decided. These are the only buttons the students need to see. There's some other things here, like here's a notebook, and it gives you a description of it. Gives you some information here, some color image down here, some information on red on how to upload it from Google Drive, some other geometry study guide information, some screenshots showing you how to do it, and an image right here. So that's one of the things about Canvas. You can put a lot of content in there, divide it up into pages, assignments, and so forth, so the students really get the maximum learning that you can from online. But to get this content, you simply go over to the right-hand side and hit Import/Download. And you say, oh, I want all this entire course to go into one of these classes. You select whatever class it is, and you hit the Import into Canvas. In about 2 minutes or so, all this content would be then into that whatever class you selected. You can also download the whole entire class as a zip file and then be able to see the files and pages and stuff that are in there, and you can be able to use it later or just take it to another computer and insert it and import it into a different class later on if you wanted to. This also lets you add it to your favorites so that you'd be able to get to it quickly and add it on the fly from your actual dashboard itself. And then we're just going to go back to our dashboard over here. And then you would be able to see whichever card it was on. And you could click on it and see it. So that's what you would do if you brought it directly into a class you've already created that was created by Infinite Campus. But I really recommend you import it into what's called a workroom that's not related to Infinite Campus, the one that doesn't say the spring semester of 2021 K-12. So to do that, create your own workroom so that it's not going to mess up anything that the students would actually see. You would go to All Courses and scroll to upper right hand corner where it says Create Workroom. Click on that, it lets you name it, and you hit Create. Just know that it's always going to have information on there. It'll say the word Workroom and then your name and then the description of it afterwards. So you might want to pay attention to what that is so you can find it later, especially if you end up having a lot of workrooms. But once you get your whole class set up, you can import multiple things in from Canvas Commons, as many things as you want, and then move them around, edit them, add your own content, and you'll be ready to set up or import that content from that workroom into your actual class before school starts, so the students will be able to start working down the modules from top to bottom. Thank you so much. That's introducing you to a little bit of your dashboard, a little bit of your create a workroom, and how to import information from the Canvas Commons area. Thank you. Hope you watch the next videos.